Please pray with me. Gracious God, thank you for our children. Thank you for making them for a place and making us for a place. And help us to live into your purpose for our lives. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, thank you, sir. Today's a different day. We have some special guests, Lee and Deb Smoll. And I'm going to give you guys this. They were key servants in bringing about a ministry called MASA, M-A-S-A, Aviation Support Association. So if you've participated with St. Thomas folks in providing meals for missionaries at EAA, it comes through them. If you've had a missionary stay at your house, because hotels are really expensive during EAA, it's happened through them. And so I invite you to give them your attention, and I would bet that they would stay for coffee hour. They have a table and answer all kinds of questions, okay?
By all means.
Thank you.
We would do that.
And I'll do the buttons for us here.
Thank you. And all I have to do is tap you on the shoulder, is that it? And you'll advance to the next
give me
slide.
that look again.
That look again, okay. Good morning. Thank you for the chance to be here this morning and share what God is doing during the Oshkosh Air Show. And the missionaries that are there. And we're going to let you meet some of those missionaries and tell you why they come to Oshkosh, or at least some of them come to Oshkosh. And you know that Oshkosh is, how many of you have been to Oshkosh, to the event down there? Okay, you know that there's some smoke and noise down there, right? And we wanted to share some of that smoke and noise with you this morning a little bit. But can you imagine a practice bombing run, down there, and kaboom, the whole side of the field lights up and you feel the light hit your face, and a split second later the boom hits, because what? Light travels faster than sound, right? The sound hits your chest and it goes kaboom, and then all at once it goes up in smoke and it disappears and it's over with, that smoke and noise convention right there. But there's other things that happen down there too. One year there was a whole bunch of J3 Cubs, and by the way, I happen to have flown one of these. It's kind of a fun event to fly a J3 Cub. But there was a whole field of J3 Cubs there that year, and special events happen, and it's kind of fun to do that. But man, oh man, airplanes, and wow, a night air show. Can you imagine putting sparklers on the end of your wingtips and flying around the sky? And sometimes they come in this way, sometimes they go that way, sometimes there's stuff on the ground. But God has some cool air shows, colored lights that he shows too. But if you realize this is in the morning, and we're looking to the southwest, it's going to rain, right? It's going to rain, and it did, and we had a great day, and we are protected from it inside our tent. But God does some neat air show, light shows down there too. But we're there for the missionaries. And the missionaries come to Oshkosh for various events. My wife will get into that. We meet at Plymouth Church, and we talk with them and see what's happening. And they also come to display their wares and talk to people on the air show grounds. But Deb has got some comments about why they come to Oshkosh. Can you share those?
Sure. There's several reasons. When it first started, I think they came, well, first of all, EAA this is the biggest fly-in convention in the world. I don't know if you know that you have that in your backyard. People come from all over the world, and anybody that's a pilot wants to come to Oshkosh. That's what they call it. Are you doing Oshkosh this year? And so they want to come, for one thing. So what we do is we provide housing, 3 meals a day at our hospitality site in the campground, housing in area homes, and vehicles. If you have a spare vehicle to loan, we let them use vehicles to get back and forth from the airport to their host home. We put them into speaking engagements within churches, service organizations, small groups, and so we provide food, housing, speaking engagements, and they couldn't afford to come otherwise because it is so expensive during that week. And so we try to make it possible for them to come. If they can get here, we'll take care of them once they get here. And this is JARS, MAF, IAMA, IAMA stands for International Association of Missionary Aviation. So within the IAMA tent, go ahead, this is JARS. There's several booths. There's like 18 tables in there where different agencies, the schools that teach missionary aviators come. And they come to network with one another. They're all doing this work out there. And instead of recreating the wheel every time they go into a different area, through their association here, they can work together and get the job done. This is how we start. We have a budget of about $15,000 a year, and we buy several plots of grass. All we have is grass, no water, no electricity, and that costs about $65,000 or $7,000. And then we have to rent the tents to put up. This is building the kitchen area where serving takes place. That's who we are, MASA, Mission Aviation Support Association. This is just getting set up. All the equipment has come. This is the beginning of the hospitality tent. We try to make it look as welcoming as we can. This is the service area where people like you all, I believe you're involved in bringing a meal. This is, we serve about 200 under the tent at one time. This is the back where they make hot coffee, hot water for cleaning dishes and tables and things. We have a freezer that we keep frozen beverage in, and we keep cold water, lemonade, and iced tea going all the time. We have 2 of these Rangers that are the workhorses of the area. This one has our tank. The white tank is fresh water. It's about 65 gallons of fresh water. The blue one is the gray water to take away. And the silver one is 85 gallons of gas. And they make about 3 trips a day to fill these things up for us. As I said, we've got no water, no electricity. This is our bag storage. If they've got backpacks and things that they bring, or umbrellas in case it's going to rain, they can leave them there, and we guard that from 6 in the morning till 8 at night. This is our registration table. Everybody has to sign up and get a name tag before they go in to eat. And this is what it's all about, filling up those tables, and the church is serving. There's a lot of conversation. It's fun to see people that went to school together 20 years ago discover each other again under our tent, and it's like old home week for them because they've gone to different agencies. After each meal, we have a speaker for the people that come and serve the meal or that are working down there with us. This is Connie Long and her husband Larry. Connie is our meal coordinator. So she's the one that sets up 3 meals a day. And now we've got kind of a list of the different churches. This isn't all of them, but it's some of them. Across denominational lines, kind of like your double portion here. It's denominations working together. It's wonderful. We have these bistro tables and try to make it attractive for them. And this, look at presentation. They make it beautiful for them. All the spaceships on top of the cupcakes.
Spaceships are not edible, by the way. So.
Yep, just more of the churches, everybody working together. Go back to the focus group. This is Fellowship of Christian Anglers Society, and they fish all summer long and provide a fish fry for us on Friday night. And that's our biggest meal. I believe Steggy's come down for that, don't you? Yes, so take along with them and come down and have some wonderful fish. It's great. And smoked salmon. We try to make it as attractive. We keep it very clean. It's just a lot of fun. We live down there 24/7 during this time.
Can you imagine the panic that happened backstage? When, how many Nescos?
I think there were
9 Nescos showed up. We only let 6 show up at the same time. We have to generate all of our own electricity. We had to borrow we had to rearrange some of the generators so we could keep the food hot, because you have to keep the hot food hot and the cold food cold, and we did it. But it was a panic when these people showed up with this many Nescos.
Again, just how beautiful they all make it. Oh, and we're a full-service organization. We have 3 hairdressers that come out and cut the hair of the missionaries. So they and their wives come and get styled and have a lot of fun. It's great. So we tell them to come with long hair so that they can get a haircut. And this year they added manicures to the mix too. These are some of our younger volunteers. It's like a rite of passage for these kids to come and work at EAA. And you can see the grown-up girls. They started it when they were young and have been doing it ever since.
And the sun goes down, and it's time to close things up, and we got some electricity generated from the inside, as you can see there, and we have to quit for the day, and of course at the end of the week we have to quit for the week as well. We start packing things up, wrapping them in wrap and getting them into storage on the west side of Oshkosh, but this is why we're there. We're serving the missionaries who are serving the missionaries, right? But you got to remember, and this airplane, I could tell you about that, but see me privately. But remember, we're all missionaries, okay? And in wherever we are, we need to be missionaries. God has called me to this event. I wanted to be a missionary pilot when I grew up one day, but I missed it by one generation. My son made it to the mission field because of a calling that he got to missionary aviation underneath this same MASA tent. So I've got a lot of DNA involved in the ministry down there, and God has called me to it. He says, come here, and this is your ministry, Lee, not what you thought you were going to do. Deb?
Mm-hmm. One of the reasons we wanted to come talk to you is that we are trying to get more homes in the Neenah to Fond du Lac area. We are putting people way over in Sherwood or up in Freedom, in New London, and it's just a long way for them to have to travel every day. So we'd really like to get some some homes closer. We provide 3 meals a day at the campsite. We're also looking for loaner vehicles. Some drive in, but some fly in, and if they do fly in, then they need a car to get back and forth. So those are primarily our needs right now, our bedrooms closer to Oshkosh and vehicles, if you have anything like that. We do have a table in the fellowship hall, and we've got some brochures that list what our needs are. And so thank you. And we're from Calvary Bible Church, and we partner with you in the double portion. And just thank you for that ministry. It's wonderful. And you're in such a good area here to host it. So thank you for all you're doing there as well.
How many of you already have loaned bedrooms to us? One here, one there. You can talk with these people and say how to do it and how much fun it is and the blessings that happen. So let's add some more to that event. Pastor Rob.
Lee, who was in charge of all this before you guys got involved?
God.
Did this happen before you got involved?
No.
No. Why did you do this?
Well,
I put him on the spot.
As I told you, I want to be a missionary pilot, but I got acquainted with the JARS folks, and somebody said, "Oh, there's some JARS folks coming to Oshkosh. Why don't you pick up Bob Griffin at the Appleton Airport, take him down and drop him off at Oshkosh," which I did, and then began to realize that the missionaries were coming to Oshkosh. And eventually camped with my family down there one summer with a 15-foot camper and an Indian teepee. We were down there, and I camped right beside the JARS folks, and that was the summer that God said, this was in the early 80s.
That was the summer that what?
In the early 80s.
So this was the summer that what?
God got my attention.
God got your attention. That's
yeah, and he said, why can't the local churches be bringing food in and feeding the missionaries instead of them cooking their own feet over their own campfire? That was just the JARS folks. And so Marlene McMullen from Oshkosh did that in the 80s and entertained the missionaries, brought the food in for the noon and evening meal only. They cooked their own breakfast. I mean, Wheaties and a banana, you got it, right?
You could say God gave you a vision.
Oh, yeah.
And then did God push you?
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
He opened the door, and I said, yes, sir, and jumped to, what God had in store for me, and it's incredible blessings. And Karen's got some questions?
I just would like to take this opportunity to thank Lee and Deb, but I want to also thank all of you who, for the past maybe 6 years, have donated salads on the very last night. We call it the last night. We serve the last night of the EAA, and many churches do that meal, and we handle just the salad. And they wait for that night because every other meal they all have like coleslaw.
do you want a mic?
No.
No.
Wrap it up.
And we put it on the table. Thank you all so
Yes.
much.
Yes. Thank you for what you're doing already.
God spoke to somebody and showed a need, and then he responded, got other servants to help, and now missionaries from all over the world can connect with each other and make their service in the mission field better. Yes.
Some of you in the past may have hosted a Faith Alive visitor or been a Faith Alive visitor. There's something about the interaction in a home. The same thing holds true with the visiting missionaries. It's an opportunity to exchange a blessing. When you invite these missionaries into your home, you're helping them do God's work, but you're going to be blessed by talking to wonderful people.
They will be available for all kinds of questions and comments in the parish hall for coffee hour, and there'll be extra cake for the First Communion folks, and so we'll have a celebration. All the cake you want. So please stand. We'll be affirming our faith in the words of the Nicene Creed.